so good. You were super fun to listen to. I'm sure you're not first-timers. That's how good you were to listen to.
That was actually my first time performing live in front of anyone. So.
Really? That was their first time performing live. Can you guys believe that?
No.
Give it up for them again. That's awesome. When you first said your name, I thought you said Kyra and Lo, and I heard Kayla for some reason. Anybody listen to Kayla? Delilah. Long time ago? Kyrella. Yeah. My name's Mimi Salone, and I'm going to do some comedy for you guys tonight. Can you all hear me? All right. Thank you. I have a coach right now. Not a sports coach, which I'm sure you guys definitely thought right away, sports coach for sure. But this is more like a speaking coach, and he said, when you're confused, you bring confusion. Do not co-author confusion. That was his mantra to me, and I said, co-author? I am the fucking author and illustrator of confusion. Are you kidding me, Robert? But in the spirit of what he said I should do, I want to let you guys know a little bit more about me and what this is going to feel like tonight. It's going to feel like me probably shouting for a couple more seconds here. But I am a comedian. I love to talk about the things that happen in my life. So I'm going to tell you about my life. Some of the intersections I find myself at are disability and privilege. Disability, this is my only visibility disability, the hashtag diabetes. There are more diseases though, we'll get to it, don't worry about that. I also love to talk about politics. I'm pretty liberal in a very conservative family, and that just gets really exciting because I still love my family and I want to talk about them and how that works out. And then I'm an adoptive and foster mom, and this is going to surprise every one of you but one person, but I was not raised black at all. I know, shocking, right? This is really surprising for us all. But both my kids are black, and so I was also raised in Montana, which has absolutely no black people in it, and so I find myself in really funny circumstances now as I've learned more about my kids' heritage and more about black culture in general, because Montana really didn't have any of it. I like to talk about that, and I do love to talk about my family. I don't know about any of you, but I've got a pretty messed up family. Anyone here with like a little bit of a messed up family? Oh my God. Solidarity, honestly, solidarity to all of us. Out here being the best we can. But I also, all my jokes I write for my family because of that. I think humor and laughter is something that can really heal conflict. It's the only way to find some peace in life. And so when I think about my audience, I'm looking at all of your pretty shiny faces, I think a lot about my siblings. Anybody else have some siblings out there? Siblings? Anybody have 3 siblings? Anybody have 4 siblings? 4 siblings? Then you probably know more than me, buddy. You got 4? There's only 2 of you over there. You stop. You stop. Don't worry. I have kids, so this is going to be fun. But I also am part of some friendships that have just nothing. You're a brother. How many brothers you got? You got 3 brothers, so there's 4 of you? Come here. What do you want to say to your brothers right now? What? Lie. That was really sweet. Alright. Good job, buddy. This first. Well, good. I have some, alright, I got some text threads that are popping off right now about this Kate Middleton situation. Are we all on board? Anybody know what's happening with Kate Middleton and her husband? Kate Middleton right now, you guys, they're saying that she is dead, possibly. Or something horrible's happened. She might have had a mental health break. That poor woman. But that was really hitting hot in the text thread the other day. And then today, somebody said, hey, she's been spotted. So she's not dead. And I said, are you sure that she's been spotted? Is that not a body double? And then it got me thinking, if you were Kate Middleton's body double, imagine. If you were pretty enough to be Kate Middleton's body double, and then all you amounted to in life was Kate Middleton's body double, like that would kind of suck, right? I feel like if you're that pretty, in my mind, pretty princess, I should be a princess if I was that pretty. It's very upsetting. I get asked if I'm a teacher a lot because I just bring a lot of energy with children and I like to play games. But it's really just because I'm a child and also a child's body. I was getting some food the other day and this waitress, because I frequent this establishment quite a lot, she said, she was my height, and she said, "Can I ask you a question?" And she goes, "How tall are you?" And I said my typical answer, which is 4'10", 4'11" on a good day. And she goes, "Oh, I thought so. Me too. Are we midgets?" I was like, "Oh, but also I'm not sure." I went on to Little People of America, guys. And this is important, so you're going to want to listen up. All right? I'm going to give you the hint of a lifetime of how you can be politically correct these days. I am a proportionate dwarf. Proportionate dwarf, you guys. That's a fun term to use. And it does make a lot of sense. I've always been, I haven't always been this tall, but I've been about this tall since 4th grade. And I've always looked young, always had the baby face, right? And I just think we're making too big a deal about pedophiles, honestly. Because I've always been this short, I've always looked like this, like a baby. 22-year-old Mimi who looked like 12-year-old Mimi, she was putting herself out there. Not a single pedo would pedo on me. Do you believe it? Denied. I just was like hand to face. Ugh. Sucked, but honestly. Are y'all environmentalists out here? I'm trying to get your attention. You guys talk. Are you environmentalists? Look at you. Like that whole table all of a sudden was like, when I said environmentalists, I like that. Well, I was out to dinner with my sister. My sister's a big Diet Coke drinker. Are there any crossover Diet Coke drinkers and environmentalists? Just out of curiosity. Any of you guys out there? No. Let me tell you something that happened. I ordered an artisanal limeade, and they're like, "If you're into artisanal limeade, would you like this compostable bamboo straw?" And I said, "God, that's so nice. Absolutely, I'd love that straw." And then they said, and then my sister ordered a Diet Coke because she's a Diet Coke drinker. And do you know what they brought her with that Diet Coke? A plastic straw with a dead baby sea turtle through it. They just put it out there for you now. If you're going to drink Diet Coke, they're like, "We know. You're not trying that hard to save you. You're feeling it every night. You're a little sad." I'm going to be on this stage, though, tonight. Y'all have a good night. It's fun. I've been in the hospital with my grandpa all week, and my grandpa is 90, and he has pneumonia right now, and people are calling and they're asking, they're like, "How's your grandpa?" He's 90 and has pneumonia in the hospital. But he's living today, and that's good, and that's exciting. And I needed a little bit of comedy tonight, is all I'm saying. I needed a little bit of a laugh. Anyone else need a little laugh tonight? Does this feel good? Woohoo, good. Well, my grandpa's been in the hospital. I've been itching his back. He's really uncomfortable. He's got a chest tube in. I just am itching his back. And it made me think, how many people in your life are allowed to itch your back? Like, how many people would you let itch your back? That's a really intimate and vulnerable thing. And it made me think about this moment I had the other day with my daughter. My daughter's 5 years old, and we were laying in bed, and I was scratching her back, and I just had this beautiful realization, right? This moment in time capture, and I thought, this is so sweet. I'm laying here itching her back, and it was at that moment that I realized I was delusional, because all of a sudden I was so sad for my mom, who doesn't get to itch my back anymore. Poor woman. Can you imagine? Let's be sad for our parents right now, not getting to itch our backs all the time. It's a beautiful thing. But my husband is roughly the worst back itcher in the world. And we try. And every night I'm like, hey, you should just come on, do something. And he starts by itching the air above my back. Feels amazing, right? And then I'm like, harder, can you go any harder? And then he'll start like scratching at my back, and I'm like, ah! That's too hard. And then he'll get it right? And he'll get it right, and he'll be like, and then he'll do the rubber round. Do you guys know what the rubber round is? It's when you're done itching a fucking back, and you just go, pat, pat. He goes, ah, that's probably good, right? And I go, that was 20 seconds. He's like, that was probably 20 minutes, honestly. No, that was like 20 seconds. He goes, but felt good, didn't it? And like, it did feel good. I just think it could have happened a little bit longer. Don't you? My husband's a real champ. He's a real champ, though. I don't know what else I want to say about him. Just fuck him for a second, all right? It's fine. I love him. Love babe. All right, I'm tangled up here for a second. What do you guys think about the economy? Anybody think it's getting a little expensive out there? Feels expensive, doesn't it? Right? Any of us thought about stealing? Are we stealing? We're stealing. I'm pretty sure we're stealing. I was in Walmart earlier today, and number one, we got like no bags, and then we got no people checking us out anymore, and so this lady was literally just pushing a cart. It looked like a full cart, and I am all about, like, I'm woke. I'm woke. As these Hispanic women were pushing their carts full of stuff out the gate, or out the door, and the Walmart greeter asked to look at the receipt, I was like, but then I was also like, that looks like a full cart, like that you just put stuff in and took out, because we got no bags in Colorado, which isn't a bad thing. But there's nowhere else that I'd rather steal than at Costco. When you're in that Costco checkout line, oh my God. I'm like, I went the other day and I was like, this is probably $250, $300, right? And that checkout lady had the fucking audacity to tell me $700. Are you kidding? I was like, but I pulled it together. I gave that woman my card, didn't put nothing down, right? I got home and to my sweet loving husband, I said, oh, this wasn't a good day for us. And he's like, oh, you overspend at Costco? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, well, not bad. And I was like, it was $700. He was like, $700? Are you shitting me? You don't think we should have talked about that? And I was like, well, hold on. Two things that I think are going to make this better. Number one, the Costco checkout lady, she thinks we have $700 to spend. I did not crack at all. I upheld our family name. I handed that card over. And then number two, we got lots of snacks, because it was all snacks that I bought. We're gonna have a good month. The kids don't need protein this month. It's fine. I am a mom. My kids are 8 and 5. They're very fun. It is a new thing to be a parent in this day and age. Are there any parents right now out there? Anybody else have a kid? Young kid? He's like, no. All right, I'm gonna be just a sage. You can listen to, because your kids who are having kids. Are you grandpa? No. He's like, God, no. Don't do that to me. But I'm gonna be a wise sage for you, because it's a new dawn for raising children. All right. It used to be kids should be seen and not heard, right? Do you know what it's like to raise a child who should be seen and heard? The level of bullshit their opinions are. It is exhausting. And I love my kids. My daughter, like I said, she's this little black girl. And when I look at her, I see just generations of black women before her, right? And she has so much voice, and she has so much power in our house, and she has so much, just every level of control you could possibly think of. And when I look at her, I see her ancestry, and I see black women that I'm like, oh, your ancestors are laughing. They're like, you fucking run that white woman's house, girl. You run it! You run that thing! And she does. She absolutely does. And it's gone to her head. The other day, she got off the bus, and she was like, and we were getting off the bus with a lot of people, and kids are brutal, so she was in tears. And they were like the real tears, right? This little girl, she doesn't cry hard. I took it serious. I took it very serious. And so I said, all right, honey, she came down, she immediately pointed at the culprit and their parents. She was like, we'll figure this out, or we'll talk later. I don't know, this is uncomfortable for the moment. But I took my daughter home and I was, and other people at the bus stop, because this little girl, she doesn't cry much. Other people at the bus stop were offering their sympathies. They gave her treats, they gave her candies. They were like, oh my gosh, you've been bullied. Here, have a bubbly water, have some candy. She's bougie, she only drinks bubbly water. We got home and I was like, all right, tell me what happened. She was like, well, Allison stepped on my egg in the bus line. And she knew I was burying that egg. And she's just so bossy, Mom. And I was like, all right, that doesn't sound nice. What happened next? She goes, then I pushed her. I was like, not our best move. But then what happened? Hold on. I was like, so then what happened, honey? She goes, well, then we got on the bus. And your mom, she's just the bossiest. She's the worst. She's just been so bossy. And so I say, everybody plug your ears if you don't like Allison. And I was like, ooh. And I said, all right, well then what happened next? She goes, well, then she said, everybody plug your ears if you don't like Adriana. And my daughter was weeping at this point. And I was like, oh, baby. And she goes, but it was true. She was being so bossy. I was in the right. And then I was like, all right, well then what happened next? I was like, and then you got off the bus and were crying that you got bullied, baby? I was like, we gotta write some apology notes. You gotta return this shit. We are in the wrong, honey. We are in the wrong. All right, so I got a couple more for you guys. Are you all right with that? You guys? I only got a few of these attention, but I like your faces that I got attention on. Thank you for being here. I do think that with that, she's been a little bit of a bully, and I do think that I'm the one that's influencing that because we have a 15-year-old dog. Does anyone else have a 15-year-old dog or an old dog? Well, old dogs, they forget things all the time, and I had a neighbor tell me that she thought my dog might have dementia, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know. All the time, like you feed him, and then he goes back to the food, and he cries some more. And she was like, he probably has dementia. And so his whining is top notch, and so sometimes I'll just be like, Frank, you've got dementia, stop whining, I fed you. But then I'll hear my daughter be like, you have dementia, you have dementia. Frank, you've got dementia. And I'm like, oh God, that doesn't sound good, honey. We can't yell that at people. But I probably gotta stop doing it first. I like to talk about disability. I have cystic fibrosis, I have diabetes, I have cancer. I did 6 rounds of cancer this past year, and 6 rounds of cancer, 6 rounds of chemo. You could have 6 rounds of cancer, that'd be horrible, but I did 6 rounds of chemo this past year, and you ever have your doctor come into the room and just like take a look at you all naked and exposed and be like, what's going on with your face? Why does it look like that? And you just be like, is there something wrong with my face? That's what happened with me. And because I've had cancer, I was able to be there for a friend of mine. Her son was recently diagnosed with leukemia. And so I was like, hey, I get it. I had skin cancer. I've been rubbing those creams on me every day. I pretty much understand exactly what this experience is like. No, that's untrue, you guys. There are levels of cancer, for God's sakes. I did have skin cancer. I did have to do 6 rounds of it. It was a pain in the ass, but there's a whole movement, right, that we gotta embrace everything that's happened to us and make it a big deal. And I agree with that. You gotta own your shit. It's gotta matter. But also, you gotta read the room. If somebody's like, my son has leukemia, I don't want to hear about your skin cancer. And neither do they. Nobody wants to hear about it. But you can cry in a skin cancer Facebook group. Alright, I'm gonna do one more joke for you guys. I am a mom. My other family. So I am a mom, and like most moms, I love to talk about my sex life. Right? So I'm going to tell you guys what it sounds like when I'm coming, because I am a screamer, and I just feel like that'd be a fun journey for us all. Right? Let's go on that journey. husband and I have a pretty healthy sex life. This is how it goes down. It's typically every day of the week, and then on the weekends, we hit it hard. Let me explain. It's a Saturday morning. I've woken up. I have 3 people in my home that I love more than life itself, right? And I have packed their things. I've made sure the play date's ready. We've got the sports equipment. I've got the birthday party thing. And every single person is pissing me off. What I do is I run to the bathroom. I shut the door. I lock it. I unbutton my pants. I sit down on the toilet. It's weird, but let's make eye contact over here. All right. And then I hear, Mom, am I wearing my shoes? Mom, I don't like my hair today. Mom, the cat threw up. Mom, do you even know anything about the 1906 San Francisco earthquake? It's a very specific joke for a 9-year-old. And then my husband will say the key phrase, which is, honey, where are we going today? And I will yell, and then he will promptly say, not promptly, 5 minutes later, he will text me from the car and say, are you still coming? And I will say, I need another minute. I'm Mimi Salonen. Thank you guys for listening and being part of this tonight. I've really enjoyed this open mic night. I'm actually headed to New York at the end of April. And if you don't think I should go, well, I already booked the ticket, so I'm sorry. If you want to follow along, I am more Mimi for you. Isn't that nice? On TikTok, and I would love to have you there. Thanks, guys.